Hey, look out. It is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
On Zoom and on the radio with us, Monica Matthews. She is one of our favorite guests.
Yes.
I'm not just saying that, Monica. I'm really serious about that. She, of course, has her own show on WSB, and she is also in the Christian View. She's an author and a singer. She does it all, and she's right there. That's your kitchen there, isn't it?
This is my dining room. Yes.
That is your dining room.
Yes.
Look at that fancy furniture with
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Thank you. This is an 18th century Italian piece that I scavenged basically from the Roswell Antique Store.
I was going to say, that's not from IKEA, is it? That does not look like.
Well, as you can see, Dan really, his investments went well. He's on the beach there. Me, I'm just in the office. So, that's how it goes for radio talk show hosts. But anyway, we wanted to check on you to see how you're doing. We know you're still going in to do your show.
Yeah.
We're socially isolated, doing ours at home, and we're pretty much used to it now. It's been 6 weeks, Dan?
I don't think they're going to tell us when they're not going to socially isolate anymore because they like us being socially isolated.
They're afraid they're going to get something if we come back. But anyway, we wanted to pick your brain with you. How you guys doing? You and your daughter, health-wise, you doing good?
Yeah, we're great. We are great. Allergies have been, a little interesting this year. And what a crappy time of year to get a pandemic, right? We were like, is it allergies? Should I be taking Allegra or going to the is Allegra for allergies?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
no,
good.
You're good.
We have
You're
so
right.
many commercials on our station that are for other things.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Be careful about that. This is not clearing up my nose at all. I don't get it.
And we
My wife loves me.
And we can't afford a dump button, so what you say is what we get. So,
oh boy.
Monica Matthews there.
It is recorded though, right?
Yes.
Now
Monica.
my face is red. Okay, so yes, we're
boy.
doing great. My daughter's excellent. Her boyfriend, who is apparently now about to become her fiance. Yes, we have all been huddled up together. So he just went back to Pennsylvania, which was a hot spot. So we're health-wise, we're great. Mentally, we've been slightly challenged. Spiritually, honestly, without I started with Psalm 91 when I saw it's one of my life scriptures that I tend to live with anyway.
Yeah.
But I started telling my audience that before this ever started, before we were told to shelter in place. I was like, you need to be sheltering in place under the wings of the Almighty. We have lived by that. We have lived by, what is love? These scriptures that were like, okay, love is not screaming because you didn't take the dishes out. Love is not being rebellious when your government asks you or mandates that you stay inside. So our faith has been challenged too because I'm such a patriot. And so my patriotism and my faith have been they have felt kind of juxtaposed at times, right? Because I believe that I'm supposed to abide by the laws of the land. I also love our Constitution. So, I've been struggling with how much of an encroachment, how much of a pandemic or a shamdemic has this thing really done? Pandemic, take your pick, whatever.
I see what you did there.
Right? And the thing is, when you say that to people, they're like, I just got off the phone with my good friend and Georgia State Senator Bruce Thompson, who was positive. He tested positive. He nearly died.
Wow.
He was the second person infected at the state capitol. And, but we almost lost him, and he's very healthy. Thankfully his wife and children did not contract it, but, he was like, this whole thing has been extremely challenging and politically speaking, it's just we've seen a lot of things emerge from people that are just kind of ugly, shall we say.
Yeah. And isn't it sad that something like this turns political?
It's
because
like I can't even waste a good crisis.
Oh, exactly. And it's like I can't even. I had to get my wife to stop watching news. I have to, filter what I look at on Facebook. Because if somebody makes one post, then 90 people comment, and they're on both sides of the spectrum.
Right. Well, so that's the other thing I've been telling people is watch your he who has no rule over his spirit is basically, you're just open season for every manner of beast to enter therein. And so I'm like, how do we rule our spirit? Our ear gates and our eye gates.
Yep.
And so if you're tired of mainstream media, if it's literally making you crazy, then you have a personal responsibility to your own spirit, your own mental health, and your family's health to knock it off. Just stay off of media. Put boundaries around what exactly you're going to watch or listen to, and who you're going to connect with,
Right.
And how many times a day.
Right.
Like, how long are you going to do that? And then abide by that. So you can, part of abiding under the shelter of the Almighty is not abiding under the shelter of mainstream media.
Yeah.
So there's no shelter in that,
Right.
It's crazy making. So yeah, it's been interesting with 3 grown adults in my townhouse.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Monica Matthews.
And 2 lovebirds on top of that. So I'm like, okay, remember, your room's on the 3rd floor, your room's on the bottom floor.
Well, that's what
Leave
the
it
dog
alone.
is there for. The dog is there to make sure they stay where they're supposed to stay, right?
Exactly. Maybe that's why the boyfriend had treats in his room. So he was like, we're going to
There
lure
you
the
go.
dog into my room so I could sneak out.
He's a smart
but
guy.
Yeah.
Remember to leave room for Jesus. Please leave
Thank
room
you.
for Jesus. Monica Matthews, talk show host. She's on WSB. You got to listen to her and watch her, and also get on her Facebook and follow her. And no doubt you need a Shamdemic T-shirt to sell on your show.
I'd
Yes,
buy
I
one
do.
of those.
Yeah, you
I
heard it
do.
here. You heard it here first. Hey, so let's talk about this during the whole pandemic, and we saw everybody go crazy around us. What did you learn personally about yourself in this whole thing? We pretty much think that you've got all your ducks in a row, so you probably didn't have any issues.
I'll drink
So,
that.
But did you find something in you that you said, oh, whoa, I thought that was fixed, or I didn't know that was there, or I did not react this way? Tell us about it.
Okay. So full disclosure, my number one takeaway, I have two takeaways that are tied for first, not necessarily as much about me in a negative light, as much as I've been heartbroken by the responses of people around me, where people have been very grieved, where people are so enraged because they're so afraid, and they're afraid of one another. They're afraid of death. It's like, wow, there have been some the church has been, I can't believe you're having services when you shouldn't tell us not to. I've just seen this constant tearing at one another. So for me, that's been grievous as a part of the body. Something I observed, I started journaling early on when I was asked to stay home, but then I was also asked to come in. And so, because we didn't have enough remote units to go around to the really important personalities.
Yeah, we know
I'm
exactly.
not bitter.
what you're talking about.
We know about those important
Yes, we do.
Bitter party of one, not here. So I was like, okay. So, Scott Slade, my producer, he gets a unit to stay home. But I was like, you know what? It's all good. I'm going to go in, I'm going to forge ahead and put on my mask. And so, what I started journaling about how I was personally attuned to crisis, and how I have been shaped by crisis my whole life. So when my daughter tells me, Mom, crisis is kind of your brand, because it is. I like to talk to people through crises and off of ledges. And as a minister, that's what you do. As a songwriter, you minister, and singer, you minister to people through song. You meet them right where they are. And so in the midst of all of this, I found myself becoming extremely pragmatic about it, to just assess the triage. I was also in pediatric emergency medicine for just a brief period of time.
Is there anything you haven't done, Monica?
Yes, actually. I haven't landed my national syndicated show yet, but I'm going to this year by the grace of God.
Just the
It's
So,
coming. It's coming.
Or my space on Fox Not So Conservative News. So yes, there are plenty of things, but with this, I realized that crisis is something that in emergency medicine, you have to stop the bleeding. You triage very quickly, and you just stop all of the immediate threats. So for me, when we were starting to go over into the governor shutting down, the mayor shut down first, the president's kind of Actually, my first clue was whenever the sports and entertainment industry, the whole complex of that shut down before any of us did.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, right.
So I was surprised, and I was actually quite pleased with myself in how measured I was in my response, to not be hysterical. A lot of things that women are kind of accused of sometimes, and that we can be so emotional about everything. I didn't go there, but I have allowed myself to feel, some of the fear that tries to creep in, or the loneliness because I miss my friends, or just kind of, like I said, the disheartening aspects of all of this and watching people tear at each other. And so I've taken those grievances to the Lord in prayer, allowed him to minister to me. The other thing that I learned that I'm so excited about was having my daughter here and her soon to be fiance, and listening to my mom's poor voice be afraid and alone, because she's a widow. She was by herself most of the time, and she self-quarantined. She was like, I love y'all, but you're not coming over. I'm like, okay. So we're like, okay, we're just going to send, little food care packages and let you know that we love you. But the first time I felt her embrace, and she just fell apart crying. She's got to be 77 and she's scared. And rightfully so. She's alone. And having my family around the dinner table like that, where we've cooked, we've done chores. My daughter became Katniss of the Hunger Games, where we send her out for toilet paper,
With her bow and arrow, she's shooting the toilet paper. Okay.
She made friends with the guy at Target, so she knows, Mom, it's like contraband. I know what time toilet paper is coming.
That's funny.
You got the role. So,
yes.
So we kind of banded together through that. And what I've realized is that I don't want to live apart from my family. Like my goal now financially is to transition into that large tract of land that I already had in my vision, but it was mainly for me and my cows and my horses and chickens. And I'm like, y'all can come visit. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, I really want to parcel off my land and have my family close.
Yeah.
So I did not feel that way before this. Yeah. I did not have that sense of, I was okay with them. Well, if you move here or there, we can always get on a plane.
Yeah.
But what you realize now is that this likely will not be the last time we're up against something that is global.
Yep.
And now we know how fragile we are.
Yes.
I'm not willing to take that risk.
Yeah. Good.
That is so good. Monica, we got to go to a break. You can listen to Monica on WSB, follow her on the Facebook, and no doubt when she buys that land and builds, there'll be a special place for Dan and myself and our families right there on the Matthews Ranch.
That's right.
Hey, let's, if you will, let's in a couple of weeks check in with you again and just finish some thoughts. Okay. You're amazing. We both think you are, and so do so many people. Bless you. We love you. Hey, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.